injustices to children, especially something as important as not being allowed to live in your own country, should have a remedy in the courts. The United States Supreme Court said a long time ago, if you are an American citizen, man, woman, or child, under no circumstances can you be forced to live in a foreign country. These children should stay here. This is their country. Their mother is here. They were born here. Something like 5 children die every day from abuse or neglect in this country, every day. And I think if children had more rights, that number would go down. So the Children's Justice Campaign is going to make them at least talk about it.
And that's what we grew up thinking, is that our country will protect us and the laws will protect us, and that we do have a home base, you know, and when that's violated, it's a big deal. Hi, I'm Kelly Rutherford, and I'm the president of the Children's Justice Campaign. I started this organization with my co-founder because we love children, and we want to raise awareness about the injustice happening to children today in the family court system, and also fight for children's rights. So if you care about children the way I do and you're interested, please go to childrensjusticecampaign.org to find out more. Thank you.
Thanks for sitting down and talking with us. So tell us something about your background. You're an actress, right?
Yeah, I'm an actress.
Tell us, you know, what you've been and how we would know you.
Well, most recently, I guess it would be Gossip Girl. I moved to New York from Los Angeles to do Gossip Girl about 8 or 9 years ago. Okay. And it ended a few years ago, so about 6 years to Gossip Girl.
Are you still acting?
I am. I'm still acting, but my life has taken on sort of another shape in a way, which has been an extraordinary experience because of a personal situation. So I've started an organization, and that's been really time-consuming, and my case to get my children back to this country has been quite time-consuming as well.
Okay, so tell us about start from the beginning and tell us what happened. So this is about 6 years ago, is that right?
Well, my son was 2, and I was actually pregnant at the time when we separated. So, you know, it was sort of slowly but surely, but he kept sort of fighting for more and more, to the point where I really didn't have any money left because I couldn't keep up with all the legal aspect of it. So it was an interesting process, and I didn't really understand all the details of that process until I met Wendy Murphy, who became my attorney, my pro bono attorney.
Okay. We're joined now by Wendy Murphy, who is your lawyer. Can you tell us how you got involved in this case, Wendy?
Yeah, so I do impact litigation work, and I'm an academic. I teach at a law school. And so I'm always looking for cases that are good examples of systemic problems that relate to violence against women and children. And this case was just an incredibly important example of the way children's rights are violated. Fundamental constitutional rights are violated with impunity, which is to say, the harm happens and nobody notices, nobody cares, and no one can do anything about it. In a traditional sense, as Kelly pointed out before, children in family court are more like furniture. They're sort of owned by their parents. They don't have their own rights. So when you go to family court, it's the mother versus the father, and the kids kind of get dragged along. So when bad things happen to children's rights in family court, it's a kind of tree in the forest problem. It's like, is there a violation if nobody speaks for the children? So when Kelly told me that her children had been forced by court order, a California family court judge literally ordered her children to leave the United States of America and live in France, my constitutional bones started shaking because it's so wrong on so many levels. And it may well have happened before to other children, but because people don't understand that children do have rights, nobody fixed the problem. In fact, the attorney appointed for them in California specifically wrote a report saying, these children should stay here. This is their country. Their mother is here. They were born here. And the only reason a California judge shipped them to live in a foreign country is because their father said, my visa was revoked and I'm not allowed to enter the United States. There was absolutely no evidence that he was forbidden to enter the United States, none. But because he said it, The judge indulged it, shipped the kids abroad when they were only 2 and 5 years old, ripped from their mother's arms, put on a plane for a foreign country where, guess what? When they landed there, they were nationless, with no rights, no protections as American citizens. That's what happens when you get forced to leave your own country and you're forced to live in someone else's country where you have no citizenship. You have no rights. We have no argument against us because the Supreme Court said it is non-negotiable. And if you can't win when you have the Supreme Court clearly on your side, there's something wrong with your legal system, which, by the way, is why we formed the Children's Justice Campaign. It is the kind of outrageous example of what's wrong with our family courts and what's wrong with a legal system that treats children like stuff. If children are stuff, bad things happen to them with impunity. We want to change that. So the Children's Justice Campaign is going to make them at least talk about it. And if we can start to develop doctrinal contours that give children more weight, because they don't vote, they don't have any money, if we can give them a little more weight in terms of basic human rights, basic constitutional rights, we're going to see a lot less abuse in this country, and certainly we're not going to see any more children expatriated involuntarily by any court.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of support. I mean, people really are behind you.
Well, I think it's terrifying that this can happen.
Right.
I mean, I think people are like, how? I mean, since the beginning, people have been saying, how could this even happen? And I said, well, I've been saying the same thing. And so I think it's frightening to think that you can have children in a country and have them sent out of just not based on anything.
And what are your ultimate aims for the organization? I mean, you're trying to spread the word, obviously. You want people to be more aware of it. But when you founded it, how do you think this is going to?
We want to raise awareness in the media because it's not really being talked about. And I think my case is sort of a landmark case in many levels. You hear kind of random cases, but my case has been in the press for a long time, and I'm very fortunate that I've had a voice because Lord knows when you don't have a voice, you have no money, and you have nowhere to go. You don't get you have no opportunity. So my thing was I want to be a voice for the people that don't have a voice and the children that don't have a voice. My children and all American children. Okay. But Mark, I just want to thank you for doing this. I really.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. And we'd like to help you as much as we can.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Not that there aren't pity parties that happen. But at least, you know what I mean? Most days you're like, okay.
Well, what happens when you get the 100,000? Then
well, I think Obama then sends Air Force One to pick up my kids. He's going to be like, Michelle's going to be like, dude, we got to do this. Yeah. This shouldn't be happening to moms in America or dads in America. This is un-American.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just hate looking.
No, I know. I know. Me too. I'm the same way.
Really?
It's awkward. The weirdest thing is when they set you up to act and you have to be this close to each other and you're having a normal scene. It's the most awkward thing in the world. You're like, you are so close to my face right now, and this is so awkward. But it's all awkward, right?
Well, that's why you're an actress.
I know.
We don't prevail there, we will file a case with the Supreme Court of the United States because really we have not just the winning hand, we have all aces. What's higher than that? A royal straight flush? We have that.
On Delta, it's the diamond status.
The diamond status.
Is it going to take a while? It sounds like something.
No, it's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, I want it to happen
Air
tomorrow.
Force One to get
my kids. Air
kids.
Force One.
Are you kidding me?
I wish. And they'll invite us all.
They're going to invite us all for dinner, and we're going to solve this problem.
This is never going to end. We have so many options, and I have so many legal tentacles I'm planning that we're just going to become so annoying to people. They're going to send the kids back just to shut us up.
Yeah, well, we have to.
Yep.